Center for the Ethiopian Educational Information and Communication Technology presents Educational Satellite Television Programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's listening lesson. This is the first lesson in a new unit on energy. You will be developing your knowledge and understanding of energy while practicing your listening, reading, speaking, and writing skills. You will learn about renewable and non-renewable sources of energy. In today's lesson, you will be listening to a lecture about the many different forms of energy, including those that are renewable and those that are non-renewable. You will identify and comment on specific information from the lecture as it is being read to you. Students, please turn to page 176 of your textbooks and write down the questions for Activity 1. As you listen to the following lecture, please write down the answers to questions 1 to 10 as you hear them. We will discuss the answers at the end of the lecture.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. Let us begin with the first half of the lecture. While you listen, please answer questions 1 to 5. Energy is the power needed for any activity. Nothing moves without some kind of energy. Human beings need energy to stay alive and to move around. Energy is used for all activities that are basic to human survival, such as cooking and pumping water. We also need energy to improve the quality of our lives, for transport, light, communications, refrigeration, and so on. As a country develops, still more energy is needed for industry and business, for schools and hospitals. Energy for our bodies comes from food. For other activities, we use various sources of energy. These are either renewable or non-renewable. Renewable energy can be replaced or used again. Non-renewable energy cannot be used again. Non-renewable energy includes oil, natural gas, and coal. These are known as fossil fuels. They were formed in the earth millions of years ago. Burning fossil fuels causes pollution. They are, however, the most common forms of energy. Oil accounts for 34.8% of all the energy used in the world. Coal makes up 23.5%, and natural gas 21.1%. Renewable energy includes water power or hydroelectric power, which is created by large dams, nuclear power, wood, solar power from the sun, and wind power. These forms of energy will not run out. Some of them have disadvantages, however. For example, the building of dams to make hydroelectric power takes away people's homes and land and destroys the natural habitats of many plants and animals. Nuclear power creates radioactive waste, and the problem of what to do with this waste has not been solved. Using wood can be bad if too many trees are cut down, but if new trees are planted as older trees are cut down, this reduces the problem. Renewable energy accounts for only a small amount of total world energy consumption. Nuclear energy makes up 6.8%, hydroelectric power 2.3%, and wood 11.0%. Other renewables, such as wind and solar power, which are clean and have little impact on the environment, account for only 0.5%. Students, now that you have listened to the first half of the lecture, let us discuss the answers to questions 1 to 5 on page 176 of your textbooks. Many things need energy to move, such as cars, bicycles, humans, and animals. There are also many things we need energy for, such as heat, light, technology, and electricity. Renewable energy can be replaced or reused, while non-renewable energy cannot be reused. Fossil fuels are problematic because they cannot be reused and they cause pollution. Hydroelectric power, nuclear power, and wood are forms of renewable energy that can harm the environment, while wind and solar power do not. Great work, students. Let us continue by hearing the second half of the lecture. Please answer questions 6 to 10 as you listen. This is the fact that the world depends on non-renewable fossil fuels, which are running out. It is estimated that by 2050, known supplies of oil will have finished. If this happened tomorrow, the world would come to a stop because we are dependent on oil, particularly for transport. There is not enough renewable energy at the moment to meet the world's energy needs. There are two things. Firstly, energy conservation, that is, to reduce the amount of fossil fuels that we use. This will mean that supplies will last longer. Conserving or saving energy is something we can all do in small ways. We can reduce the amount of electricity we use by turning off lights and by making sure we close the door of the refrigerator and freezer quickly. People with cars can use them less and can use public transport, walk, or cycle. This will reduce the amount of oil we use. Secondly, we can use less fossil fuel by increasing the supply and use of renewable energy sources. This will be very expensive. The developed countries use very large amounts of fossil fuels every day. The United States uses far more oil than any other country. In comparison, the developing world consumes a small fraction of world energy. In these countries, people depend on traditional energy sources, principally wood. This is because electricity is either too expensive or not available. The more a country develops, the more it depends on oil and other fossil fuels to provide energy for transport and for making electricity. This means that developing countries will also be affected by the energy crisis. Therefore, we should reduce the amount of fossil fuels we use. Students, I hope you enjoyed that lecture. Let us now discuss answers 6 to 10. It is partly true that we are running out of known energy, and there will be none left if we do not develop or find more sources of energy. The world can solve the energy crisis by reducing the use of fossil fuels and increasing the use and supply of renewable forms of energy. To save energy, we can reduce the amount of electricity we use. We can also use less fossil fuels by taking alternate forms of transportation. Developed nations are largely responsible for the energy crisis. However, developing nations will still be affected as they become more developed. Did you answer all of the questions correctly? If so, well done. Students, here is a pie chart which shows the usage of different forms of energy around the world. Based on the lecture you heard, please determine which forms of energy are used in the shown amounts.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Hello again, students. Oil accounts for 34.8% of the world's energy usage. Coal accounts for 23.5%. Natural gas accounts for 21.1%, and wood accounts for 11.0%. Nuclear energy makes up 6.8%. Hydroelectric accounts for 2.3%, and other resources such as wind and solar power account for about 0.5% of the world's energy usage. Today, you listened to a lecture on the different forms of energy. You answered a series of comprehension questions related to the lecture and completed a pie chart to show the distribution of the world's energy usage. This is all for today. Next time, you will read about potential and kinetic energy. Until then, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.